I think there's a certain disconnect when everybody's on their phone on the tube instead of talking to one another. But I think that this is what the technology's done. In some ways, it's produced a barrier, but on the other hand, it's broken down barriers. It does have this facility to embolden us while still keeping us chained to the screen.
Humans are social creatures, evolved over millions of years to reach this point, living together in everything from sprawling cityscapes to settlements dotting the globe. So why are more and more people choosing to socialise and make friends online? And with the digital generation getting younger all the time, what dangers might young people face on the internet?
I suffer with depression and I take medication for it. I've suffered from that for about 8 years. When I first started suffering from it, it was much easier to meet people online just because you're in your own safe haven. You know, I was at home, I was in my own safe space.
I suffer from depression, anxiety, and OCD. I do think being able to think through what I want to say in an online context does make it easier to talk to people with those issues.
Having social anxiety, I find it a lot easier to talk to people online, so I just think if I meet people that I can talk to online, so I'm not having to talk to them face to face and it's just a keyboard and the screen, it's a lot easier. To people you know in real life, it sometimes feels like you have to hide some of your interests because they might judge you for it, whereas online you can be whoever you want to be, you can show your true personality, and you meet people online who have the same interests as you, so it just feels more like you can be yourself.
Humanity and humans, our job is to communicate with one another, and part of what it is to grow older and become more mature is to understand where the lines of communication are acceptable or appropriate or not.
My parents now are quite okay with it. Originally they were quite apprehensive, only being 14, 15, or like when I got to about even 17, 18, they were quite apprehensive, and the first time I went to meet someone they were like really unsure and they made me go with another member of my family. But I think it's always important to take someone with you the first time.
I've heard online horror stories where children have been approached. I have seen Facebook posts from friends where their child or a friend of their child has been approached.
I definitely think that my parents have a paranoia of what could happen to me. They think the internet is full of creepy 40-year-old men trying to prey on little girls.
I have one child. I'm quite happy that he would make internet friendships online. Where I would have a problem is if in the course of making some internet friendships, perhaps his behaviour changes in a negative way or a way that would worry me slightly.
If someone meets someone online, it's brilliant. Especially now, it's a lot easier for younger people to meet people with their similar interests, which is how I met people. But I think it's always important to take someone with you the first time. There are horror stories of what can happen, so I think it is very important.
My parents don't entirely know that I do. They vaguely know that I do, but it's because in the past they have not been open to it at all, but they've become more open to it over the years. I just don't know if they'd be entirely okay with how much I talk to people online. So they're not incredibly supportive of the idea. I think my parents feel like this because they're extremely overprotective and they like to control things so that they know that I'm safe, but in a way that can be overbearing and dangerous, I think.
You talk to these people for so long and you realise you have so much in common, and then you meet this person and it's just like, it's such a happy feeling because you finally feel like you've met this person you've been talking to for so long and they get you and they know so much about you, and it just feels really nice.
It depends on how well you click online. I met Dan online and got on really well with them, and it was only after a lot of talking it was like, actually, yeah, this is the sort of person I'd be happy to meet with in person.
Having friends in other countries, I think, is difficult because you can't really see them when you want to see them, and time zones are difficult so that you can be able to talk to people, but I think it's definitely worth it because you have a broader spectrum of who you can talk to rather than just the people in your own city. You can talk to people from all over the world rather than just be stuck in your own little space of the world, and you get to learn a lot from other cultures and stuff. Someday I do plan to like go and try and meet all my internet friends in person when I have the funds to do so.